Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening everyone. I would like to present our assignment today, which is the relation between religion and politics. I'm known as a case study. Before we start our presentation, I would like to introduce our team members. First of all, my name is Muhammad Helmi bin Nordin and I'm working with 4 people besides me, which is Daini Izzati, Ahmad Hussain, Dawindran and Nuha Akil. Without further ado, let me start our presentation. First of all, for our introduction, politics and religion have a complicated history. There was occasionally a complete separation between the two. The two spheres were occasionally indistinguishable due to their interconnectivity. When the two could not be separated, their hierarchies were intangible. But it's important to understand this connection between politics and religion and its wider perspective. Political decisions have had religious factors since humanity first developed political system. Political decisions were occasionally based on conversation with the holy and guidance they provided through the words of priests and prophets. Religious leaders have occasionally disagreed with political leaders' decision. Politics and religion both seek to gain political power and utilize it to further their own agendas. The approach for achieving this goal, however, differ. Religion mobilize people's religious sensitivities to gain their support for capturing power, whereas politics employs intrigue, diplomacy, and attempt to win public opinion either democratically, if the system permits it, or by usurping power by the assistance of an army if the society is undeveloped and backward. As a result, during a power struggles, both politics and religion strive to undermine each other. If religion has a political power, it seeks to use it to carry out a divine purpose. It argues this is authority is derived from God, and so its mission sacred, driven to transform society under spiritual guidance. Politics, on the other hand, devoid of any value, bases its policy on the demands and requirements of society, obligate to modify laws and the system of the government appropriately. Next, for our problem statement, how does religion influence the political setup in our country? How can religion be used in politics in a positive manner? Should religion play a role in politics? How does race and ethnicity affect society? What political ideology is Malaysia? For our research objective is to study on how Malaysia's government conduct the political ways with religion. To study the practice of religion in politics can give beneficial. For the significance of study, politics and religion both involve groups of people debating issues and making decisions based on those deliberations. Conflict arises when decisions occasionally overlap and differ, and the link between the religion and politics change because of religion's decline in social influence.
Hello and salam sejahtera. My name is Darwindran. Today I would be demonstrating literature review of our topic, which is religion and politics, based on UMNO as case study. There are a few citations that I need to point out for this context. First of all, politics and religion both seek to gain political power and utilize it to further their own agendas. The lack of religious and moral practices in politics has had a huge negative impact on Malaysian politics and citizens, leading to a high rates of power of abuse that gave flaws in the political systems, cultures, institutions of the nation, such as an issue with corruption and racial issues. According to Shadabi, religion provides an eternal barrier for bad behavior, yet religious rules alone are insufficient to prevent corruption. This shows that it is the person's own willingness to avoid offering and accepting bribes to put the teachings of their religion into practice. Sholto B. claimed that the ease with which the forces of racism and malice can triumph over those espousing the moderation that successive governments have claimed as their hallmarks makes one despair that the country will ever move on from politics of prejudice and fear. When a leader constantly accepts accountability for their actions, it is demonstrates that their dependability in trying times and their understanding of how to accomplish this. Based on the religious point of view, Islamic teaching encourages leaders and employees to develop their skills with charity, inspiration, wisdom, and experience. According to Elizabeth, another scholar highlighted patience, social intelligence, inspiration, honesty, sincerity, and confidence as important as Islamic leadership skills. Ingmar S. stated that politicians who are attempting to maximize their income may compromise on corruption and tax fraud while also being aware that higher levels of corruption, which means lower public faith in them and lower their chances of being re-elected in the future. Other than that, there are no religious practices that taught us to be racist toward other people. Based on S, racist sentiments are largely explained by low education citizens, socio-economic plight, advanced age which means old people, and insecurity, but not by religion. Finally, misinformation will affect the politicians badly because whenever people have a strongly held views that are incorrect, attempts to change them will encounter resistance. Thank you.
Quantitative method will be used as our method of the research, and this will allow our team members to gain insight from our targeted participants to best understand their experience. We are targeting the Malaysian people that has more knowledge about their own religion to gain more information about our problem statement. This survey will be given to collect more information and their own opinion regarding to our project. To run our survey, we created 19 questions with an extra 2 sections for demographic information and responder opinion. The survey was carried out using a Google form. The data was gathered and interpreted into chart. The collected data were analyzed, discussed, and the conclusion was achieved. The questionnaire comprised 4 demographic questions, 1 open-ended question, and survey statement. The statements are evaluated on an agreement scale. Question regarding to our problem statement will be asked and the information will be analyzed by our team members to compare opinion between different religions. The survey will help our team member to understand the objective of our research and come up with the solution regarding to our problem. There will be some limitation that may be faced by using this method, such as some participants might not give their honest opinion and the question that will be might be sensitive for them. To avoid this problem, we will filter our question and avoid sensitive question for them.
In data analysis and findings, we have 3 sections, which is A, B, and C. In section A, we look into the demographic of the respondent. In section B, we look into the questions that is consent with the topic. And in section C, we look into the hopes and recommendation of the respondents. We can see that both genders comprises almost the same proportions in this study, which is 53.3% and 46.7%, almost 50-50. The same goes with their respective residency. 53.3% lives in cities, while the rest live in rural areas. But the story is different with age, where the majority of the respondents are between 19 and 25 years old. 2/3 of them are 19 to 25. And for the status of employment, 23 out of 30 are students, which is 76.7% of the total respondent. 6 of them are currently employed, and 1 is unemployed. And we can see in the religion, most of the respondents are Muslim, followed by Buddhists, Christians, and Hindu. In section B, we look into the first question. By applying religious practice into our politics, it can change our political ways for a better future. So majority of the respondents agree with this because usually all religions, they do not allow for malicious practice, for bad practice, corruptions, swindling of money, etc. So if the religions are practiced by all these candidates, so maybe it can better our future. Do you think corruption is one of the biggest problem that is being faced by our country? Most of the respondents agree with this. Most of them agree that corruption is one of the biggest problem in our Malaysia. This is proven by various exposure made by the media, various news article reporting on cases of corruptions, cases of grafts, bribes, and this is because the culture of money politics has been a norm in the uh, politic world in Malaysia. Uh, some of them like swindle money. Others maybe they use favoritism. They actually prefer favoritism over meritocracy and etc. On to the next statement. Malaysia is facing a cultural invasion by the West, and it is one of the most serious problems facing Malaysia. Majority of them agree with this statement. And practices of the West include capitalism and socialism, where in a capitalist economy, it is seen as oppressive to the common consumer, where debtors are charged with overwhelming interest, and in socialist economy, uh, everything belong to the government. So maybe it can be seen in some aspect of the country, but this actually needs more clarification, needs more study in the economic field in order to clarify this situation. Uh, Political parties in Malaysia should not be religion-based. Majority of respondents agree, but a substantial amount of minority did not agree with this statement. This is maybe due to the opinion that most people hold, that is, religion should not hold the utmost authority in a country. However, in religions also, they actually they encourage people, not really encourage, but they actually require people to uh, execute religious laws and uphold the religious laws in order to be faithful to their respective religion. Our country should dissolve the parliament based on religious beliefs. Again, most of the respondents agree with this statement, with not really substantial amount, a considerable amount of minority disagreeing with this statement. However, because one of the opinion for that is supportive of this statement is politics should be secular and reasonable with no religious overtone. Sometimes they can seemingly contradict with moral views of the society. Some people are religious extremists, but not because they see religion as a, how do I say, uh, a divine revelation by or anything like that, but rather because of their cultural and social background, because of their environment growing up. In section C, we look at the suggestion of the respondents of this study. Most of them do want to do something about the current situation of religion and politics in Malaysia. And some of them feel that the current political systems are old, are not modern, or not contemporary enough, so they should be dissolved in order to bring forth a new political system. But one of the respondents uh, actually have a different opinion. They said that respondents said that uh, the political system can actually apply religious law and knowledge, and they also explain on how to do it.
It is important to remember that a political system that uses religion for its own gain can only exist in a culture that accepts such a solution. For as long as humanity has existed, religion has been used in politics. For instance, a community without any religious influence will not accept or comprehend religious jargon, and it is also necessary for religious references in political sphere when it involves society which is sensitive to religion. And the motivation behind the use of religious terminology in the political sphere are open to examination and criticism. Hence, this study does not claim to have the definite solution to this question. Rather, it highlights one viewpoint by describing a few reasons why religion is used in politics.